Huh? Okay. Interesting choice to buy a Chieftain and a Rover Milan now instead of putting them down on deployment. I'm not quite sure what this is about. Like, maybe considered waiting for a fighter and listening to the enemy air if there's anything coming in, and then deciding for this, because price-wise this kind of... No, this doesn't even fit a tornado. I have no idea why this was made. I really can't explain this decision by darkneutron. Might want to ask him after the games what this was all about. If it was a mess up or what exactly happened there. Scouts coming around here. Fire teams moving in. Javelins being brought in. Yeah, little AA here. And yeah, the forward deployment of the airborne for sure will allow the capture of the center. And that's why I'm so interested into Tofuk's approach of just trying to push in there. Phantom coming around here. Getting a run onto a Milan truck. With its Vulcan cannon. Ooh, fire team 84 not being hit there. But the Bradley needs to be careful. M150 is coming around here. Another truck getting gunned down. Engineers might want to be careful. Bradley needs to smoke. Will smoke. Will smoke in time. One of the engineers gets killed off by the Carl Gustav here though. And the Phantom might want to consider strafing those Milan 2s in the building as well. But yeah, Bradley's not really getting into range of these. Smoke now coming around. Not really hitting anything yet though. And ooh, being lucky. Fire teams being brought out. Smoke coming in now in a nice mode. The smoke mortar for sure. Key asset of this whole push. Lynx Hellarm, I like that. On the side of darkneutron. No AA on the other side. We have the Phantom out there. And the Javelin's not having the greatest of day here up here on the front line. Engineer's still not quite in there. And yeah, Javelin's falling back. Chieftain coming in. M1A1 pushing forward. Rover Milan coming in again. And the question is, are we replaying the War of Independence or the War of 1812? Is Washington going to burn, or will the USA save their freedom here? Engineers pushing forward. Fire teams pushing in. Carrier Para holding the line here against the fire team. Phantom still flying in the sky. Ooh! The swarm is about to enter the fray here. Gazelle rockets. I like that investment. They can murder 1 or 2 fire teams here, and that's all they need to do to really take the wind out of the sails of Tofuk's approach. Fox also now on a mission here, going through the rear. And Tofuk at least made it into the first couple of buildings, but yeah, now here come the rockets. And they annihilate the engineers. They kill off one of the fire teams. Second fire team pretty low by now. The M1A1 moved into the forest. 2 Bradleys dying to the chieftains. Another warrior coming in the rear here as well. The Fox trying to get into a good spot for some ambushes. And yeah, I'm not liking this position here for Tofuk. The first UK really in a good spot here now. Fire team pushing forward, but they are pretty low. Yes, the infantry on darkneutron's side is pretty low as well, but reinforcements already on the way, and he now has this annoying Gazelle rocket swarm. The Stinger on the other side did die as well. Fox finds the kill onto the scouts. American scouts being the weakest of the scouts out there because they just don't have any AT on them, so the Fox could just slaughter them outright there. Meanwhile, south, nothing happening there. And yeah, Tofuk now in a bit of a pickle. Brings a Cobra around now. This is most likely trying to hunt down the Fox. So Fox already going deep into the forest here. Trying to protect itself. And actually might win a fight against the Cobra. Autocannons now pretty effective against helicopters. Cobra not being the sturdiest of them. So a direct fight here between the Fox and the Cobra actually might not end so well for the Cobra. If it's too close there. And the +2 now here ticking in for darkneutron, but the way bigger thing is that he has a commanding control over this whole area now. That's why I considered both the Bravo Alpha push and the Air 1 push in the beginning, because yeah, exactly the scenario that I feared would happen for Tofuk came into existence here, with Tofuk being stranded in front of the zones, not being really in any of them, and having all the buildings to push into. Bradley's just not great for attacks like this. They have fantastic ATGMs, they are great support against enemy tanks, but they are pretty pricey for their frontal armor, and they still die to any ATGM hitting them directly, so you really want to be more careful than this. Cobra versus Fox. Cobra gets the better out of it. Fox goes down there. Cobra now moving onward. Neck rifles did push a bit forward, but they can't really do much here. Especially not with the whole Gazelle rocket swarm here, waiting for their next target. Chieftain trying to come around to assist the front line here. We have a tornado now in the skies as well. Phantom not made to beat that. It has a lot of missiles. AM-7M Sparrow. So it can fire a good amount in towards the tornado as well. But the tornado outclasses it by a good bit. A bit more ECM and all. Phantom got the first shot at least. But yeah, goes down here in the end. Got close, but not quite close enough. Or did it? Pivot? Ooh, Pivot gets the revenge kill. So at least a fair trade here for Tofuk. Pivot coming in clutch there. Getting the last couple of hit points of that annoying enemy fighter. And arrow rifles did survive in the north. Blackhawk will make it back home. Cobra still alive as well, so okay trade there for Tofuk. As another M1A1 comes in. Hammett rolls onto the battlefield as well, but I don't quite see how you push into this now. Like, darkneutron will have an easy time holding this. And the Gazelle rocket swarm coming around to the north. You see Chieftain easily taking north as Terrier Para did secure the most important building here on the edge. Cobra not really around to do anything about it. Air rifles actually getting shot up in the open here now. Trying desperately to escape. As the Chieftain is pushing up on them. Not chasing though, as that would be a bit risky, especially with the Cobra still around. M1A1 down here could come around as well to maybe try to find a fight. But the Gazelle rocket swarm actually out for the hunt. Interesting. Javelin LMLs and Javelins coming around. Actually, they could be murdered by the Cobra. But the Cobra does decide to go south because they can't defend itself. And the 20mm autocannon of the Cobra also pretty good against helicopters. If they can fight them unassisted. So Cobra actually maybe could have done something there. Phantom will try it instead. Will find one of the Gazelle rockets. So at least one is going down. Cobra, meanwhile, being repaired in the rear. Arrow rifles will most likely die here, or not. Most of the Gazelles wasted all their rockets. One remaining with 9 rockets. If it can find the target, could do the job. Doesn't find the target just yet, though. Ooh, Phantom taking a risky way home here. Javelins, one does find its target, the other one doesn't, though. Meanwhile, Bradley here, opening up fire onto the Gazelles. A bit of a risky move here with the Chinook. But Bradley under ATGM fire will go down to the Milan 2. Chieftain does die to the Bradley though, so good kill there. Okay trade here for Tofuk once more. Air rifle still surviving in the north. M1A1 AA CP falling back here away from the armored rifles, as they have Carl Gustavs here with them, so you don't want to fight them directly. Cobra going a bit too close. The Jaguar HE bombing some M150s out in the open here. Javelin's quite scary for this Cobra. Don't want to take that fight directly. Bradley's here, will have to smoke off again. Artillery onto these Milan 2s or bombs or anything like that would be quite important. Yeah, M109 now coming in here. We'll try to find the Javelin first. Good supportive fire from the M1A1 outside of the Milan 2 line of sight. Repairs are necessary up here as well. So the infantry running into challengers is not so great. The mech rifles can't do much about it, even if they hit with their Dragon 2. Usually a pretty potent ATGM, but against Challenger 2 frontal armor it still does little. Whilst we have some more smoke popping around. Artillery finds the Javelin at least, but the Milan 2 is still an issue. Bradley trying to assist. If they can find some long-range ATGM fire, the TOW 2s of theirs for sure will do some damage. But that's not the case right now. Darkneutron keeps on rolling ahead with this +2 here right now, and Tofuk desperately trying to find a way in, but it's not that easy. Ooh, big fight here in the north. M1A1 being really close to death, but so is the Chieftain. And both decide to disengage. M1A1 most likely would have won thanks to rate of fire, but it still would have been a risky proposition, so disengaging there makes sense, especially if you are already running low on tools, as Tofuk. Stingers disengaging away there from the infantry. They don't want to get lost there. They don't want to go down there. They still have a couple of Gazelle rockets, and together with the bombs, together with all of that, yeah, the infantry all going down. Infantry coming in relatively unsupported there. Not a good idea from Tofuk, losing once more all his infantry in that fight. And yeah, it's a pretty tough spot here now for the player in red. Constantly being ticked down for now, and yeah, he needs some big armored wins in my eyes to get this going. But with the Milan 2s being around here, this is quite tough. And like, that's why I would have advocated for push through the south, easier with armor to make. And then if you have the whole south, you can give up these 2 zones. It's still a neutral position. It's 2+1 zones versus 2+1 zones. And then you can consider how you break this slowly but surely in the later stages of the game. And you don't have to smash your head into the wall time and again like we currently see. Engineers pushing forward. Really showing this really strong advantage in the early game that first UK has over other armored divisions, and it's playing out nicely here. And now the Challenger Chieftain combo is working out nicely. Chieftain as the cost-efficient brawler, and then the Challenger as the big level up that allows you to beat M1A1s and force the enemy potentially into M1A1 HAs to really beat them down. SAS patrol and rifles holding the line of sight in the south. Meanwhile, Chieftain's pushing forward. Meanwhile, M1A18 up here in the north being resupplied. Engineers pushing forward. It's Jaguar HE out for some bombing runs. Ooh. And it might just find that. Gets the kill onto the CP. Really important kill here. Too little AA to most likely kill it off. Or will the Stinger get on target? No, it won't. Phantom still chasing. If it can find a connection, could get the kill there as well, but doesn't want to fly directly over this, and that makes perfect sense. And yeah, really important bombing run there by the Jaguar. Dark Neutron now even more in the lead. And Tofuk pretty hard pressed here now to break that. Like, the Bradley's super important for the ATGMs, but as I said before, you kind of need to break the ATGM positions here first, and the Milan 2 is not quite going down. Yeah, you M109s on their own, just not having the damage output most likely. Ooh, already on target on the next spot here though, but still the Milan 2s most likely will be repaired before that hits. Yes, they're back to full strength, so you usually want to have two M109s at once if you bring them around, because then one salvo kills them if it's on target, instead of just hurting them, which is what we see here right now. That's there in buildings. So yeah, Milan 2 repositioning here again after being repaired, so we won't quite hit them. And by now we have a lot of chieftains here next to the challengers. More chieftain Mark 11s rolling in, and all Dark Neutron has to do is just holding out nicely. Engineers and Fireteam Dragons pushing forward. Bradley's trying to come around. GMs flying all around them. Milan 2 in a pretty nice spot here as well. You see Law 80s under fire. Being hit quite nicely. Ooh. GM not landing on target. M1A1 slowly pushing forward. We have a Phantom coming around again. I'm not quite sure for what though. Okay, it's just Phantom and Eagle just flying around here. Drag Pierre on the ground. 109 opening up fire again. Really tries to do some damage up here, but with the supply vehicles already being around, and as I said, like with not being deadly, that's what you need the second M109 for. It's not doing much. Other option would have been a lot of mortars, just constantly annoying the Milans and potentially killing them off eventually. As they deal pretty decent consistent damage as well. They are not really precise, but eventually they will get the enemy. Another Bradley does fall here. Chieftain does survive. The Milan 2s will pick the next Bradley off. These two Milan 2s here are the bane of Tofuk's existence. It's so hard to play around them. And yeah, Tofuk once more being baited into exactly the fight that Dark Neutron wants. It was the same thing in game number 1, and it's the same thing again here. Dark Neutron controlling the game exactly into the kind of warfare that favors his division. And Tofuk didn't really found a way around it. M109, M1A1 here pushing in deeply, but it's outnumbered badly. And good smoke here by Dark Neutron will save these chieftains as well. Meanwhile, down in the south, a couple more chieftains being repaired. Artillery does land onto the enemy here. Might kill this Milan 2 this time around. Nope. Yeah, there would have been 3 more shells landing around. This Milan 2 most likely would have been killed off. But this way around, the M109 investment just not worth it. A single one of them just doesn't quite have the bite. And yeah, Tofuk getting another good Milan 2 position here. Dark Neutron getting another good Milan 2 position, and I just don't quite see how Tofuk is supposed to break this within the next 8 minutes. Bradley with good line of sight here, but now the Milan 2 is around, so might have a problem. Like, you could have potentially tried to play around here. I like the Phantom opener to gun run the open trucks. Like, that was pretty cool. Some neat ideas here out of Tofuk. And the early push with the smoke and so on, a solid idea as well. Just not quite finding what it needed to find. Artillery here landing onto the Milan 2s. But not being quite on target. Meanwhile, Chinook supply helicopter coming in the north. We see the Bradley trying to find a kill. Not quite doing so though. Let's see more Foxes, more lower 80s coming around. Joining the battlefield. Mech rifles under fire. Alright, teammate T4 pushing forward as well. Bradley opening up against the Javelin. Jaguar with another nice kill. AA here, pretty terrible. And the Phantoms on the wrong spot. Cluster also not finding a kill in the south. This is looking really grim here right now for Tofuk. I just don't see how you win this at this stage. Milan 2 coming around. And yeah, they're just such good hold-off weapons here. Like, range of Milan 2 is a bit low, but for its price point, the 24 penetration is just so scary. Milan 2 over here at least gets broken, but the M109 won't have the same effect over here. And that's the massive problem. Mortars are not dangerous enough as well. And by now it's 3 Milan 2s that you just don't have the firepower to push through. Like, if you have enough M1A1s and you do good smoke plays, you potentially could do it as well. And then just gun them down one by one. But the firepower in none of the situations was good enough to kill them off. And then it just... if you lose units and the enemy just takes damage, the game spirals quite quickly out of control. And that's exactly what happened here. darkneutron able to keep his units alive, able to get them resupplied and get them repaired. And Tofuk every time losing valuable units, valuable infantry units, valuable tanks, valuable Bradleys especially, as those Bradleys are key for the tank fight that would have to come after. Losing another M1A1 here, and yeah, this might be the end of it. Engineers going down, M1A1 here in a really bad spot, lower 80 with the side shot, getting a great hit. We see some Phantom cluster bombers here coming in now, and they actually get good hits, but they don't quite get the kills. And that's really a good show of what this game is all about. Like, getting good hits, Tofuk achieved all game through, but he just couldn't find the fatal ones. But darkneutron found them time and again, and this most likely is the end here now. Cobra pushing forward, getting some nice shots on target here. Couple of infantry units finally falling, but the M1A1s here pretty decimated, and the repair is already back up. Yeah, repair currently in this game a bit too fast, a bit too easy. Units get repaired quite quickly, and the repair meta for sure is something that needs to be looked at. I know that it is being looked at, so hopefully in future tournaments it won't be all about that. But at the moment, this is how you play the game, and darkneutron plays it fantastically. Chieftains here really doing great. As the Hell Arm come around, M1A1s and Bradleys in a bad spot. Next one gets picked off. Chieftains and Challengers rolling forward. And having a nice line of sight here. Another Chieftain coming in. Bradley does fall. Fire teams under fire here by the rifles. They will fall eventually as well. And yeah, we have next to nothing left here. Couple of M1A1s, but they don't even have the supply to come back to the front line. And the time is running out, and there we go. Tofuk does surrender, and darkneutron takes game number 2 here as well. GGVP to darkneutron for this really well planned out and well executed game. And yet Tofuk with a solid idea early on, and as you can see, the KD actually not, like, obviously in that last push, darkneutron threw everything in, and